135 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered on Fort Bliss. You heard that right. On Fort Bliss, internal. And why? Because he was a whistleblower. He stood up against the criminal trafficking. There is so much that is connected with his case, like the Walmart mass shooting case, like the audits. The mass shooting case that happened at Walmart is connected to Richard's unit. Then, so that brings up a lot of questions, right? And it's absolutely confirmed to be connected. And then, of course, our son's case is connected to the Santa Teresa International Jetport and the uh, detention of El Mayo, right? Ismael El Mayo Zambada, um, who is in New York right now. And that's um, amazing developments going on there. And then, of course, Richard's case is connected to the hundreds of thousands of, um, they call them unaccompanied, but you don't have hundreds of thousands of unaccompanied children. You have taken children. These are taken children that were trafficked through Fort Bliss, registered there, and now they're mostly dead, right? They're mostly dead. This is what the report is. And then, of course, going back to El Mayo, his lawyer, uh, Ray Velarde, was assigned to Richard. Why would, you know, this lawyer be assigned to Richard? Um, so that's another thing that connects them. And of course, Richard's platoon leader, Dallas Hart, who was flying, connected to the Santa Teresa International Jetport, that it's just all up to no good. And Richard's platoon leader, who is the prime suspect of all the prime suspects in the murder case of our son, is connected to that, right? And that unit is connected to the Walmart mass shooting, and that unit, Delta Battery 143, is a special unit, right? Because it had access to more resources, more funding, more fuel. It was set apart from the other batteries. And so I think that is something that needs to, and I've been jotting down with others that know about the military more than I do. And I know I'm getting to know quite a bit. I'm getting an education. I'm getting a real education here, um, compared to 4 years ago. Um, but jotting down everything about Delta Battery 143, air defense artillery, and what that all means. And it is absolutely set apart from the other batteries, and because of its mission, because of the fuel, because of the technology, and I'm just doing this from memory, from everything that we've been collecting. So, thank you, Anicia, for coming on. I can see that you're on now and everything's working. So that's really important. The VA is also, the Veterans Administration is also connected to Richard's case, murder case, and to um, Dallas Hart. And really, then it shifts over to Leilani Hart, who has changed her name. And did I write it down? She's changed her name, and I've been reporting on this, and I didn't. It starts with an E. Um, but she has changed her name, and she's changed her name a few times, I guess, in her life. Okay, whatever. That's fine. But she has changed her name recently, and she receives a lot of benefits, a lot of veteran administration, disabled veteran benefits. Now, those veteran benefits are for disabled veterans, aren't they? They're for disabled veterans. Um, and we are super supportive if you look at um, our family and what we have supported, and even my dad when he was alive, and helping with getting justice for our son. Even put out his T-shirt, and his he was doing the 5K. I believe it was 5K, not 5 mile, 5K run for disabled veterans. Um, very, very supportive. I mean, my husband was a medic, right? And then he became a physician assistant. I mean, he was all about um, our veterans, taking care of their health and supporting them when they had become disabled. And so this is in no way, um, uh, let's just say, fraud inside the Veterans Administration IDES Pablo for disabled veterans benefits is not to be tolerated, because they are for our disabled veterans. And if you are a fraudster, if you are impersonating, and all through this case, there has been fraudsters and impersonators. And if you are impersonating a disabled veteran and forging, and and even using veterans sensitive information because you have access to that information in order to enrich yourself with monies that are supposed to go to disabled veterans and their families, that cannot be tolerated. And therefore, this audit seeks to look into Leilani Hart. We have serious, serious red flags here, because breaking news, and I haven't even written it out yet. Breaking news. Um, we have confirmed that she receives disabled veteran surviving spouse benefits. We know that she is divorced. We know. Was she married previously to a veteran? I don't know. I think she's been married a long time to James Hart, and then he recently was divorced from him. Something very there's something fishy. Something doesn't sit right. And because of the level of fraud, the level of fraudsters, the level of impersonators, the level of lawlessness in in Richard's case, in the Walmart case, in the Santa Teresa International Jetport El Mayo detention case. There's a lot a lot of fraud in that I haven't covered. In this tunnel case, the Polaro tunnel case, um, there seems to be something very, very fishy going on there. If you live in El Paso, go drive by, where, they didn't even smoke it out. When you have a tunnel, what do? You smoke it out. Of course, when you find something, uh, eh, an ancient building, I call them ancient buildings, when that are, these magnificent buildings, like, let's say, the pyramid, the Giza pyramids. Let's say you come across that and you see an entry into that, and you see a tunnel through it. You smoke it. You smoke it and see where it comes out of, right? Where's the end point? What's going on? Where is the smoking of this tunnel? You know, um, and why are they just taking bags of who knows what? They're saying it's cement, but these are just dry cement bags and sticking them in this tunnel. What's going on? Are they where are they mixing it? Where's the sand? I mean, did they have bags? Maybe they have bags of sand there too. Maybe on the flatbed there was bags of sand. I don't know. But where's the mixer? I can tell you right now that I have mixed a lot of cement in my life. A lot of cement. I know, I mean, we use a little bit of dishwashing soap when we mix cement. Believe it or not, it makes it a little smooth. Did a lot of pointing, a lot of pointing, a lot of building walls, even part of the gable of our house in Ireland was up there on the scaffolding. Um, lots of witnesses to our stonework using mortar, cement mortar. Um, eh, you know, uh, putting down oh, in Ireland, you use a lot of cement. You use a lot of cement because it rains a lot, right? Um, and even here, building our cement walls and patio, and uh, it's we know how to mix cement, and I don't understand what the heck is going on the Mexican side when they're bringing in these dry bags of cement, if they are, and what kind of quality of cement, because not all cement is created equal, right? You've got some cement that's very, very weak. And when you're just bringing in bags, those are mixer. There's no mixer. Um, what's going on? What is going on with this? And without even smoking out the tunnel, Wh- where is the smoking out of the tunnel? Um, It's, you know, so with that, with this huge fraud that's going on, I haven't even touched all of it, but the fraud that's going on at the VA, which with Leilani Hart, and it seems like Leilani Hart is um, connected to all of it, connected to the jet port, connected to the unit, connected to the CID, connected to the FBI, because whatever way you want to slice her July 22nd, 2020 um, uh, sworn affidavit, sworn confession, no matter how you slice it, she has to be arrested. And now there's two articles that came out. One is of a man that was in possession of, what is it, 40, 50 pictures of illegal photographs of children, right? The very worst, which is child torture, right? Because we know that all of these kind of pictures, even the legal ones of this sex cult stuff, um, involves uh, child trafficking, right? Involves that. And And, that argument we've been making for a long time, years probably. And so this man was in possession of what, 40, 50 pictures. He gets $100,000 bond. He gets arrested, $100,000 bond. That's tough. That's tough. Where is the arrest for Leilani Hart? Because we know that she confessed to being in possession with her family members of these kinds of images. And even worse, it gets even worse, right? It gets worse. And so then you have another article of a man that absolutely did the worst kind of crime with a 14-year-old child and is getting like 40 years in prison. Where is the arrest of Leilani Hart? We have this red flags for the fraud at the VA where she is saying, I can hula dance, but I'm a disabled vet. I can work for the post office, but I'm a disabled vet. 100%. I'm a, disabled vet, but I can work for UPS. I'm a disabled vet, but I can be a security guard. I'm a disabled vet, 100%, 100%. And I'm getting, what is it? It's called DV4S. DV4S, meaning I am a surviving spouse. And more, the homestead and all that. Something is super fishy. And with that, an audit would clear that up, right? An audit would clear up what's going on there. And so that's very, very important because if she's connected, and she is, to the Veterans Administration, IDES Pueblo, if she's connected, and she is, to Richard Halliday's case, she's a prime suspect in the murder of our son. If she's connected to the Fort Bliss CID office, which she is, that she was getting access to files in order to tamper with them. If she has confessed, like she did, to her family member tampering with and forging information, which she did, using soldiers' identification information without them knowing, which she did. She confessed to that. We have it. Accessing and leaking that information, which we know that was happening. We know that in Richard's case, that Richard's and our family's information was being leaked, and we called them out in front of 15 plus agencies. Who's leaking information? Someone has access. And because we went through months and months of being harassed, being threatened, being bullied by individuals using our information from our family, all kinds. They had so much access. See, that's how they intimidate. That's how they bully you, because they're saying, we are in the inside. We're in control. We're the CID. We're the FBI. We're the DEA. We're the generals. We've got access. We've got intelligence. And you need to shut up. that's how they intimidate you. And praise God that the access to our files led them to the realization that our family was sparkling clean, that our family was sparkling, that Rob served so honorably. They couldn't intimidate us like they wanted. They had to twist and say the most vile, sexually, they always had that overtone. They always had to add nasty words and everything, and say just make these false accusations because they didn't have anything on us. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm mad as hell for other families because what if you've what if you've done something that you regret, but you've rallied and then you were just doing it's kind of like this whole Pete Hegseth thing, right? Pete Hegseth, sorry, the Pete Hegseth thing. You know, you go, you see things, you're in that very corrupt, and he admits it, very compromised, very um, challenging environment, and you come out of it and you might have done or do things that you regret, and they will just go after you. They will just go after you, even if you pay the penalty. You know, um, some people have done things and they go to jail, and it's supposed to be for reform, and then they come out and people just won't give them the time of day, even if they want a fresh start. It's there was this British man that told a story at his church. He said, when I went to the United States as a young boy, young man, I went to church and I was doing really well, and I was in the choir, and I was all doing this, but did I I think he stole someone's purse or something like that. I don't know. I did something wrong, and they would never let me forget it. And and I went back to Britain because I knew if I got like 20 lashes, it would be done with, over with. I'd pay the penalty, I'd get my 20 lashes, and then, I would be forgiven. I would be, you could pay your restitution, you could, and I could go on with my life. But I couldn't go on because they didn't have a penalty. They didn't have a punishment, right? They just uh, and I thought that was a really a great point. And in this case, there needs to be a lot of uh well, we're looking at the death penalty. Because how do you pay the penalty for what they have done in this case? The level of crime is not as much as people deserve chances. You still have to pay the penalty. You still have to pay the penalty for the crime. And so I'm going from them getting illegal access to people's sensitive information and misusing it, twisting it, turning it, using it as a weapon to harass, to whatever. That's so illegal. That's so rotten. It's so rotten to, okay, they have to a pay for that crime of the illegal access to that information and then the harm that they've done in the harassing and the threatening and everything. But we're at the place it was used to cover up, to obstruct justice in the murder of a whistleblower US Army soldier that was reporting on criminal trafficking that was causing so much blood. So much blood. Am I allowed to use the word blood? I don't know. I don't know. Because that's what's going on. They want to cover up this immense amount of criminal activity that is so hard. Sometimes I hate social media. I just want to say what I want to say. But they're causing so much harm. And it is by the very this is the thing that people need to understand. These are not just thugs on the street. These are people that have access. These are people that wear the uniform. These are the people that take an oath, that have been entrusted with our with our monies, with our sons and daughters, with our equipment, with our buildings, with our weapons, with our ammunition, with everything. They've been right. And they have absolutely abused their power. And I see Thomas Garrett coming out. And, today is Friday. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. And here, anyway, and there is a lot to discuss. A lot to discuss of what was used, who was used to retaliate, to harass, to infiltrate, to spy on, to get information, to impersonate a caring person, for very questionable intentions, to cover up the immensity of the crimes that have been that have been absolutely harmful to our country and to other countries, in the destruction of our institutions from within. And we have a robust file of evidence of every kind that backs up what we're saying. And I think the very big breaking news today is that somehow, some way, the Veterans Administration disability benefits is giving Leilani Hart and her new name disability benefits for a surviving spouse. Now, that needs to be explained to us. And the dates are chilling. The dates are chilling, y'all. Chilling. for me especially. And the time has changed, thank God. We have what, 2 more days? We're counting hours. Maybe it's 46 hours to go. I don't know. Let's start counting hours because it can't come soon enough. The amount of abuse, organized criminal, internal abuse of our country, the assault on our Constitution. We have trillions of dollars that we allocate for the defense of our Constitution. And what do we get? Assault after assault after assault on our Constitution, which is our rights of the people, by the people, for the people, and our land, our property. For the aggrandizement of the internal cartel's pleasure, right? For that. No, thank you. No, thank you. This is not just for a cartel group. This country is not just for a cartel group. And this is what we have faced from the very beginning. We knew when they had not contacted us, that they made excuses for not contacting us, that those that have made it one of their purposes to contact Gold Star families still do not know how to address them. And yeah. Yeah. And we're allowed to ask questions. We're allowed to ask questions. And we're allowed to get answers, not deceptions. And so 4 years of being, can you remember the whole Nadal Baim thing, right? We're being honest with them. We're bringing in the huge lead, not as big as Judge Rodriguez's official whistleblower complaint in his official capacity. But the Nadal Baim thing was pretty big. It was pretty big. And we brought that to the FBI. We brought that to the CID. We brought that to the commanding general, Sean Bernabe. And they lied to us to our face. To our face. And would not tell us who Nadal Baim is, that he worked for Western Frontier Trading, who he had conflicts of interest with. They did not tell us who our son's platoon leader was. We had to get that on our own, which is Dallas Hart, and the conflicts of interest with that. They lied to our face. And this is to a family that Their son was murdered on Fort Bliss, and we are very confident it was in the arms room because the arms room red security seal is, and this is yesterday I told you, this is other breaking news, is connected to Borstar. Borstar. Because Borstar, with their canine, had a positive hit. Had a positive hit for the blood of our son. Because our son was a hero and would not compromise himself with the criminal trafficking and reported it. And the leadership chose the criminals over the hero. And hundreds of thousands of children that have been taken and trafficked through Fort Bliss, our military installation, on our dime by individuals ordered or whatever in uniform, in our uniforms, with our ranks, our stars. And these children are mostly dead because leadership chose the criminals and the crime over the hero and esprit de corps, the Constitution, their oath, the creed, the golden age. Because let me tell you, anytime you side with our law, the rule of law, the Constitution, the esprit de corps, the creeds, the honor, duty, all of the rhetoric that they like to put out. But that is absolutely true. When you side and you really are dedicated to it, you have a golden age. Check out history. It always happens. That's why I have Justinian and Theodora behind me. They had the golden age, the golden horn. Look it up, the golden horn, the Byzantium golden coin, the incredible food, the incredible art, the incredible economy. It was so incredible. It lasted the longest lasting empire, over 1,200 years. Everybody wanted the Byzantium coin because it was good, hard money, gold. It wasn't inflated, right, by debasing the coin, filling the coin with pot metal or something. Now you see people can drill into these gold coins and empty out the gold and they fill it with pot metal or whatever, and then they pass it off as a gold coin. Yeah, and you rub it, sometimes it's with copper, and then like during Rome, if you rub the coin, the nose, because the nose of Caesar was so sharp, you could rub the nose, and he was called Old Copper Nose. Old Copper Nose, because it was a debased coin, but not Byzantium. So, it's like I think President Trump understands. That's why his degree is in economics, and he might not be a lawyer, but he knows economics. He knows how to make a deal. He's talking about a golden age. You only have a golden age by law enforcement. He put out his picture his official picture, which is absolutely a side that those criminals are their days are numbered. Days are numbered. They're going to have to pay for their criminal activity. And he also put out a statement saying that the federal government is absolutely looking at the death penalty, that he is going to direct the Department of Justice uh, to give out the death penalty. And thank you, God, that Richard's case is in Texas because Texas has the death penalty. And the level of crime, look, if you are harming one 14-year-old and you get 40 years in prison, but in Richard's case, in this abuse of power case, it's hundreds of thousands of taken children. It's a U.S. Army soldier, and don't forget about Glendon Oakley Jr. Don't forget about Asia Graham. Don't forget about Fort Bragg, which is now called Fort Liberty. Enrique Roman Martinez, who all his family has is his head. That's all they have of him. And of course, Caleb Smither. And I have here, I got this out when the article about Caleb Smither came. And it's the, let's see if you can see it. I don't know if I can show it to you, but it is the SOP 6th of February 2019. See if you can see it there. And it was in Richard's paperwork, and it's this 6th of February 2019, the barracks standing operating procedure, living standards for soldiers in the barracks, and leader responsibilities. And I'm sure that Fort Bragg had this also. And well, absolutely the leadership were derelict in their duty, if not that on worse. And it's you can see it in that video that I posted. And I'm sure, look, we heard that with Caleb, they were supposed to bring him some food and water. I don't know if that's accurate. It's a good source. It doesn't matter. Every room in the barracks needs to be checked twice a day, period. And if you have a bedridden soldier, someone needs to bring them food and water. And he was found in the 5th stage of decomposition. Now, if the leadership that are absolutely treasonous traitors cared so much about the health like they were claiming to do during the whole mandate thing, but failed to bring a soldier water, failed to check the rooms, failed to do their duty in every way. And now, we don't have, and I know for a fact, we don't have a healthy military. They are absolutely liars. They lied to our faces numerous times. They go to charm school, right? And then they try to charm and mislead you and manipulate you and control you and whatever you want to call it. Asymmetric warfare tactics, that's what I call it. The asymmetric warfare tactics. And then they assign you a casualty affairs officer from the asymmetric warfare unit. And then they admit that they have an entire group, an entire, what is it, brigade, um, just for keyboard warriors, just for asymmetric warfare um, activities. And in our case, it was crime. So keep in mind, Richard's case is connected to Leilani Hart. Richard's case is connected to the compromised CID office, compromised FBI office, compromised many of those offices. Richard's case is connected to the Santa Teresa International Jetport, connected to these tunnels, connected to um, the Walmart mass shooting case, and it's huge. It's so big. And that's why you know it's big because they're not talking about it. You have a family that has worked hard for over 4 years, day in and day out, and they don't want to talk about it. You have a lone journalist. There was one more, but a real lone journalist that absolutely is disgraced using, and now I think he's had to distance himself from Leilani Hart, but he uses the prime suspect in the murder case of Richard in order to say, oh, this is my convicted criminal source, the prime suspect in the murder of this U.S. Army whistleblower soldier. And we're going to use her, who seems to have committed the most atrocious fraud against disabled veterans, trying to collect benefits meant for them. Um, and we're going to use her to uh, obstruct justice and intimidate witnesses, intimidate a whistleblower in the case so that the case will not go forward, and and have a false narrative for the public, um, which is, you know, it's just so evil. And now I think Bob Moore, because absolutely he's biased, absolutely he has broken um, every regulation. I shouldn't say every, but his 501c3 requirements. Um, and discredit, and along with Angela Kachurga too. Don't forget her. You know, um, absolutely a disgrace. Absolutely, they talk all pretty about um, about foreigners coming over. Oh, we need to, you know, take care of them. But hundreds of thousands of children that come over are now mostly dead. Right? Unaccompanied, they say, and they're now mostly dead. And, where are they? Where's Angela? Where's her bleeding heart? It's not there. It's a heart of stone. And it's very indicative of complicity to organized criminal activity. So, we are up against so much. And what we have found out is just so amazing, because this is the good news. There are so many people that are Team Find Richard Halliday, that are Justice for Richard Halliday, that are the Gold Star family of Richard Halliday. They are the Gold Star family of Richard Halliday, and they will say his name, and they will provide this information to us because they're sick and tired of the corruption, the abuse of power, the targeting and assault on our Constitution, on our rights, on our family, on our soldiers. I hope I said soldiers 3 times. On our volunteer soldiers, on our volunteer sons and daughters, on our most valuable assets. Are so sick and tired of, their children coming home absolutely scarred in so many ways. And we are, if they come home, right? And we are very, very grateful to those that have given us information and connected us and connected dots for us. And of course, we verify and this new information about Leilani Hart collecting, what is not rightfully hers. It's not rightfully hers. It's supposed to go to the disabled veterans. It's kind of like this whole El Paso Community Foundation. The fraud that was being committed by the Walmart mass shooting victims fund that had, my mom thinks it was more, but our source says over 12 million, and fraud committed, paying out to those that were not victims of the Walmart mass shooting. And you can compare that. And do these people know each other? We believe they absolutely do. We have absolute confirmation that these two cases are connected through 3905 Bliss Avenue. Danae Katzen and Breese's family, Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia's family, connected to Leilani Hart. So the fraud is not just taking what's not rightfully theirs in the veterans. A fraud is, and we know Danae, absolutely has been arrested, absolutely has been reported for taking what is not rightfully hers. What is not rightfully hers. And impersonating. Oh, yeah, I watch dogs, and then getting paid and then never showing up. Oh, yeah, I do this, I do that, and not giving the service and taking the money and taking advantage of individuals by taking what is not theirs, is not rightfully theirs. And that is a really good comparison of who these people are and what they do. And if they've earned it, great. But if they're taking from others what is not rightfully theirs, there's a problem. And this impersonating and fraud is very obvious in this case. And we want to thank Delores Montanez for that, because she really reminded us about the fraud in these institutions, and knowing that she was Veterans Administration, then she alerted that absolutely she was talking about what she knows, right? The border, the Veterans Administration. And so that inspired us to look into this. And so this audit absolutely needs to look into Leilani Hart. So thank you so much for coming on. And we're burning the midnight oil very late tonight. And we're counting the hours for this new administration to come in, because there has to be something that is done about what's going on. And we want our son's remains, and we want those that did this held accountable. Thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow. God